Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RTA Season 36 Legend Tournament. My name is Evan, and with me at the virtual desk, it's Topa V. What's going on, Topa?
I'm doing great, Evan. Super stoked to be here for today's Legend Tournament. We had a very close finish there. There were 5 players in contention, but ultimately we could only take the top 4, and we're here to find out who will take the Legend title here tonight.
Yeah, dude, we're in for some fun. Chat, if for some reason this happens to be your first time joining us for a Legend Tournament, let's quickly break down how this works. So we stand poised at 12:30. That's 30 minutes past midnight. So that means that we have our top 4, like Topa pointed out, from the ranked season. Now we're going to take those 4 players and throw them in a bracket so that they can participate in gladiatorial combat to find out who will be number 1, the legend of the ranked season, and get their name locked into the Hall of Fame. It's always a fun time. We're going to have a blast. I want to shout out some names from chat real quick. Ultra Deathlord, welcome. First one in chat, welcome here. The Ace, Hiroshin, Blaze Zero Rage, Raigeki, of course. Thank you so much for the raid and so many more. Thank you guys for watching here on Twitch or on YouTube. All right, guys, here it is. RTA Season 36 has just ended, and now we have our top 4, who we will be revealing shortly. It has been locked in. You should be able to see it within the rankings in-game, or you can leave it as a surprise for right now. And in the meantime, I'll tell you, I actually got my 4th LD5 just like 2 minutes before we went. Actually, it was 10 minutes before we went live. So I am riding that high right now, chat. Overview. It's SWC mode the whole way through. Best of 5 in the semifinals and the finals. And by the end, we will have our legend. And of course, they get some prizes here too, Toba.
Oh, absolutely. All the participants have already secured all 5 Imperial Commander Spectre Princess skins, which look absolutely stunning. But that winner will obviously get that coveted statue, as well as get their name engraved into the Hall of Fame forever. And
that's honestly the coolest part, is that you just go down in the history books of the Sky Arena as one of the legends, and then everybody who goes to your island is going to see that. Thank you so much, chat. For folks wondering, I got Elena, the Dark Pudding Princess. Cool timing. Good against Water Gandalfs, who are kind of running rampant right now, Topa.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen Glory utilize the Elena to very great effect. It does have the non-contact AoE buff remover, as well as the Oblivion on the skill too, which is pretty nice synergy right there. So congrats again on that LD5. That's pretty great to see you get.
Thank you, dude. I'm so hyped. It came out of nowhere. It was from a scroll from an event. Phenomenal. Let's talk about our 4 players for the tournament. First up, Topa, it's Rexis.
Yeah, super great to see Rexis here. It is his first time being the Legend Tournament, but obviously no stranger to competitive play. He is the current defending champion for EU SWC Cup, and we've seen his most picked. He's utilizing some of those LDs to a great effect.
Yeah, dude, the Light Nina stands out as being particularly powerful too. We also have Big Ugg, and do you want to walk us through the most picked, most banned?
Yeah, definitely. We obviously know that there was a balance patch mid-season, which is why we see Venton still in the most picked, most banned. Obviously, that Erection has been the clear winner of the most recent balance patches, and everyone's going to be fighting over that monster here today.
Yeah, that's a super great note. It's like Venhan was picked so much that it skewed the pick rates even this far into the season. He was just so dominant for so long. He's still okay, but obviously he fell off pretty hard following the bounce patch. And then we have Qiang here.
Yeah, Qiang also utilizing the light Gojo a lot. You know, that was also a monster that kind of got replaced by Erection as that AoE buff remover. But also seeing a Sagara in the most picked is quite surprising. Well, on the other side, in the most banned, seems like they like to play a lot of like Cleave style with a Maximilian, that Light Nina, and those are the monsters that opponents have been banning out against him.
Yeah, looks like they force a lot of people into difficult positions with their cleave comps there. And of course, our number 4 is Skit.
Yeah, it's great to see Skit back here again. I believe it was season 14 when he actually did get a legend title. So Skit does have a legend title, the only one out of these 4 players. But it's been a long time since we've seen Skit compete, and it's great to see. He's utilizing the meta quite to its fullest. You know, we see that Gandalf, Josephine combo paired with that Ella as well as the Irene. Very strong combos there.
Cool stuff. And honestly, like a draft that I really like to play, and adding the Ella in there is a really cool combo with, like you highlighted, the Irene, but also with like the Gandalf or anything with such a short cooldown. Ella just makes it that much more potent.
Yeah, it just, accelerates those short cooldowns even further and just makes it even more impressive. Obviously, we see the Gandalf Josephine has great synergy against just anything that really stuns, right? You get those shields for free from Josephine, then that gives your Gandalf attack bar, and then Gandalf's going to be cleansing your team. And that is a very frustrating combo that I'm sure a lot of you guys in chat have fought and are not a huge fan of.
And here's how that bracket's going to be populated. So just like previous Legend tournaments, it's going to be number 1 position versus 4, and then number 2 versus 3. It's going to be best of 5s all the way through our semifinals, and then we're going to fill those finalist positions, and we'll settle that score right here tonight in a final best of 5 to decide the legend at the end of it. Now, Topa, this is kind of interesting because Skit is normally filling a caster position for these Legend tournaments.
Yeah, he has been casting on the Korean side of things for quite a few years, and that's why he's been out of the competitive play. He hasn't played in SWCs because he's chosen the casting route. So it's super great to see, a fellow caster actually duke it out here tonight.
That's cool. I was wondering, before we went live chat, we were speculating, how is this going to go down? Do you think would he, is he going to cast his own game? Is he going to step aside? Is he just not going to cast this time? That'd be kind of fun to see him cast his own game, Topa.
Yeah, that would definitely be quite of an interesting spin on things, hear his own thoughts and everything. And, maybe we'll get to see, maybe that piece of content will come out later. Maybe he'll, do like a little review on his games. But, oh my goodness, we're getting right in the games here, Evan.
Oh my, blink and you'll miss it. We are already in for our first game of the night, Rexis versus Skit. This is going to be crazy. And again, guys, remember, Skit is the only one here with a Legend title. You can see that up there, that number 1 finish with that beautiful red star. Rexis being a first-timer in the Legend tournament scene, but no stranger to competitive and just high-end RTA.
Absolutely not. He has also, been playing the Summoners for European League, has been going out recently, so he's been maybe getting a little bit more experience with the pre-ban system here as well, as those are underway. And the ratio, no surprise in the pre-ban. These drafts are going lightning fast, Evan.
Yeah, they're flying by. Now we're finally getting a second to catch our breath here as Rexis decides how he wants to respond to this super aggressive opening. The Qingshe Josephine Sekhmet is one that's come up pretty often. It's a tough one to play around.
Yeah, Skit has really been enjoying this Qingshe Sekhmet combo, especially when the Erection gets stolen. Obviously, Erection is in the pre-ban right now, so very good time to pick that up. And the Josephine obviously countering both of those first 2 picks from Rexis that are just stunning a lot, and no surprise that we see the Gandalf coming up here. Rexis is already preparing for the Gandalf a little bit here, picking up that Gapsu, as well as going for a light Harang for just some single target damage.
Gapsu has been making a bit of a return as a response to Water Gandalf, and of course the Light Hwarang is such a good unit independently there, Topa, but at the same time he gets increased damage on that skill too whenever he goes through a shield or any kind of damage reduction effect.
Absolutely. Rexis sitting with the last pick here, probably going to pick up a Bulwark. There's, obviously Gandalf has a lot of buffs, same with Josephine as well as even that Water Burner that Skip picked up, buffing every single turn. But no, Rexis is going for more LDs, which we do love to see her in that Berkhild.
This is such a fun choice, to be honest, because she can remove. She's got the ability to remove the buffs. I know Ultra Deathlord is probably thrilled about this pick, being an owner in there too. Also, I want to say thank you again, Chad. Appreciate it. Gigiana in there too, asking who I got. I got Elena. I got the Dark Pudding Princess. Super hyped about it. To be honest, I draft her into this situation right here. The non-hitting buff remove. Pretty sick. Gapsu gets taken out, and so does Gandalf. And we are off to the races for the first game here, Topa.
Yeah, here we are. Good ban on Rexis' side there, kind of doesn't really want to ban out the Gandalf. He has the gaps to counter it, but realize that Skit is likely banning out his only form sustain the gaps, so banning out that Gandalf. And we are off, and Shio doing a lot of damage with that skill tree, a lot of that additional damage coming through on a defense-based monster, but does get the stun as well, so Josephine cuts in.
Yeah, look at that. Gets the provoke in there, so Berghild has no choice but to attack into it. She unfortunately can't be controlled. And here you go. Look at that damage coming through. As soon as he uses that skill 2 through a shield like that, he just pops off.
Yeah, that was great damage from the Light Harang, even without any stacks. But now the Megumi getting additional turn, also just stealing the shield, landing both debuffs right there on that Werner, and another stun with that additional turn.
Rexis is showing us some super fun options with the LD5 flexing here. Like, they are just fun and different choices, and they seem pretty appropriate for the situation, though Berkhild is really closing in on death.
Yeah, the segment finally getting a turn up. Just go for a skill 2 instead of that reset right there. And Werner gets the additional turn. That's like huge additional turn with the damage on the skill 2, takes out the Berghild.
Notably doesn't actually take anything away from the Shiho, so there's still a chance here. Josephine does real well into that light harangue because she auto crits on skill 1. Chat, nice proc. This Megami is awake at midnight 44, dude. He's trying to win the game for Rexis right now.
Oh, and so is this harangue right there, getting another nice violent proc. It's going to confirm the kill on the Werner. Maybe he's going to choose to do damage elsewhere. Goes to that monkey, knowing that his monkey can take out the Werner here.
Nice. Cleans that up. 3-3. Increased cooldown time on Shiho. That is not a monster you want to get your cooldowns reset on.
Ooh, opposite go for the stun with the Megami right there. Gets his harangue stun to the process. Not sure if that was the right play as Shiho just got reset. No skills available there, so now the shield's coming out as well. Megami can remove that.
Rexis now on a bit of a clock here with the Shiho. It just stinks to have skill 2 and skill 3 down. He feels real vulnerable. He's got nothing to protect himself. Maybe getting a clutch little stun on the Xingshi. Now Josephine can climb up here. She could go for the stun right here. Yeah, there you go. Deny it. And a clapback on the light harangue. This is looking pretty good for Skit right now, dude.
It is looking pretty good for Skit. You got a pretty fortunate 2-turn provoke on the light harangue right there. And then the monkey proccing as well does glance, but that harangue is getting stunned a lot by this Josephine. Megami can now finally get a skill 2 where the Josephine doesn't interrupt, but he misses this skill 2.
The one time, bro. This was looking really good for Rexis at the beginning, but he can't catch a break. Okay, light harangue cleans up the kill on the Xingshi. Now, the thing is, though, he was a little bit optional. These were the only 2 monsters that Skit really needs to make something work here. He just needs to keep that control. Taking down that light harangue is a big move here.
That is definitely huge right there. The Josephine pass is such a nuisance. Once again, Megami misses that stun. Had he landed the stun, Josephine would have caught right in there with the passive, however. So maybe not the biggest of deals. And an unfortunate stun coming out of Shiho. That is going to be the end of Shiho. And I believe that is end of Rexis' chance of winning this game as well.
I think so, because look at this. Josephine is doing her best impression of an AoE stun monster. She's crowd control. This is exactly why people hate Josephine.
Absolutely, and this is exactly why people love drafting Josephine too. She does so much in that stun matchup, and having enough speed to recover those turns, even without additional turns, just having that passive up constantly and getting those additional turns, the shields, and that little bit of sustain that you get from those shields.
In the face of multiple LD5s, Josephine steals the show, Topa. Like, that's the craziest part of this, is that the elemental nat 5s are the ones that are shining.
Yeah, she got a lot of value there. Not a whole lot of violent procs, but just landing a lot of skill 1 stuns. Landed that skill 2 provoke on the harangue. Quite fortunate right there. Kept that harangue really out of business for a while. And yeah, just getting the additional turn every time. And that shield, the revenge, so much value coming through.
I gotta point out, I do not dislike what Rexis was bringing, though. I thought there was cool strategy there. It was, like you said, there was a lot of counterplay towards the Water Gandalf. And this is actually, I think this is actually a good situation for Rexis. Getting that Water Gandalf off the table means he no longer has to play around it. So now we're going to see him kind of unleashed here because he doesn't have to bend to something that might appear in the pick ban phase, and he instead grabs that Erechion in that first pick slot.
Yeah, definitely a favorable draft position for Rexis here. Also, Skit just respecting the Light Ivor that was picked in the last game, the Berghild. So that actually leaves Rexis with the Erechion here. And Skit is quite comfortable fighting in the Erechion here, as we see. He's obviously not pre-banning it, and he has done this a lot on the ladder with the Wind Monkey and the Sekhmet.
And this is my arguably favorite new monster that was introduced in the collab, Fire Legolas. So good. Stealing buffs, also reducing attack bar, absorbing attack bar rather. Very fun, flexible monster, good damage, and even in the face of something like a Shiho, you can take away that invincibility for yourself.
Yeah, if you can get that turn, Shiho obviously stunning on all 3 skills, and Fire Legolas obviously being fire, as the name says, can definitely be getting controlled by that Shiho. Rexis looking to keep that Legolas up and well with the Annabelle pick here. Now kind of running out of time, maybe a little bit of a panic setting in there as he just kind of defaults his LD options here, but they're not bad options at all.
Jaeger has been having a bit of a renaissance, actually. I don't know. What do you think of him?
Oh yeah, Jaeger getting buffed in that last patch, that revenge rate from 30% to 50%. It may not sound like a lot on paper, but that is a huge buff. It's almost, well, it's 60% more revenges coming out of that monster right there. So there's a lot more revenges, and even on a violent vampire build, you can definitely do a lot of damage.
Yeah. And you do definitely feel the difference there, chat. Like, I mean, there's a reason he's getting picked here out of nowhere. We haven't seen him appear in a Legend tournament in a while, at least to recent memory. Light Harang takes the ban. Shiho takes the ban. And here we go, guys. We're going into game number 2 in this best of 5 series of Skit versus Rexis.
Rexis does have the speed advantage here, but obviously no Swift monster on his side, so Segment will be taking that turn 1. Probably looking to reset this. Goes for the Annabelle right there. I believe Rexis' Eretion is built on a violent build. So, yeah, it's not going to be controlling the monkey, and the monkey is going to clap right back and control the Eretion.
I like the foresight to deny the AoE defense break by resetting the Annabelle. And look at this. So that's a high roll, plus an additional turn. We take that. High roll and a half is what I'd like to call that.
Yeah, the Fire Legos is kind of a casino unit. It's a bit gamble on that skill 1 with 2 to 5 hits. That is a huge range. So if you low roll on that monster, it can feel quite bad. But man, when you hit that high, it is a big high.
It's awesome to feel that. Now, comparably, it feels pretty bad when you don't. But right here, Rexis is still riding that high. Let's see here. He's got to go in on the same A here because of the threat state, and he's going to pick up the Reflect harmful effects.
He's going to pick that up, but his Eretion is looking to leave the battlefield very soon here. That Wind Monkey on Skit side is also quite low, and Jaeger is now out of the bag. So looking to do a lot of damage here if he can get a turn.
And Justice is online and looking juicier by the second. I don't think he's not been reset or anything like that because he's just been put in the bag over and over again by the Irene. But eventually, Skit is going to have to save that third skill from Sekhmet to put that thing on cooldown.
Well, Justice has such a low cooldown, so I'm not sure how worth it is. I believe Rax is also using a Violent Jaeger, so we'll just proc right into it. But that skill 2 refresh cooldown coming out of second on the Irene is actually just permanently keeping the Jaeger on lockdown here.
You see how strong this combo is, right? Irene plus any cooldown reduction is just phenomenal. There's that AoE defense break that we know Skit was worried about before, but the same A keeps it to just 1 turn.
And those debuffs will also be healing Skit's side a little bit here. So, yeah, the defense breaks are already gone from the monkey and the segment. Those are probably the 2 primary targets Rexis wanted to go for, but now the Lego's getting multiple hits, almost taking out the same A, even while being attack broke and doing great damage.
Super stellar. Yeah, if he didn't have the attack break, that might have been a dead unit. Annabelle cleaned it up here. Now we're starting to see some counterattacks coming out, but I don't think he's going to be here for long. There's a heal block, there's a defense break. Oh, and look at that, dude. Right back in the bag where you belong.
Right back in the bag, but at least soaks up the bag. They're already being kind of low on health and likely not even taking a turn, but not... Oh, the Legolas not able to steal the threat state there is quite big, as now this monkey is still free to roam around and do more damage. Oh, but the Revenge takes it out!
Oh, that's so sick. That's very stylish. I have to say, that's very stylish. I don't think it's going to be enough for Rexis to do it. Annabelle doesn't have skill 2 right now, right?
I don't think it matters. The Annabelle is way health in. Oh my goodness, that is a huge amount of take out the Jaeger, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Annabelle actually has skill available too. The Legolas will be staying alive and taking out the segment, and Rexis will definitely walk away with game 2 here.
He definitely will, right? Right, chat? Yeah, I don't see a way out of this. Irene does not have the ability to do that. It's going to be a scoop, and now there's 1 point on the board for both. So that's what I'm talking about. Fire Legolas, such a fun unit. It's like you said, he's a little bit of gamble on that skill 1. Well, it's actually a lot of bit, dude. The high, but he's great. Very weirdly consistent for such an inconsistent skill 1.
Yeah, it really is. And Rex is even adding more gamble on top of that, building your own revenge, trying to get, those revenge hits. And yeah, if you get 5 revenge hits, oh boy, that is going to hurt. And Skit felt the pain in that match there for sure.
Revenge is a really fun way to build him, chat. If anybody has the Fire Legolas and you've been kind of like teetering on that edge of whether or not to build him, I'd highly recommend doing so. He's super fun. So now we see the last round's pre-bans, which are back on the table. So we could see that Water Gandalf coming back. Berghild could make a return, which to me, I'd honestly be looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. Rexis does not want to fight the Water Gandalf Josephine combo here, so now just banning out that Josephine as he cannot ban out the Gandalf, but this leaves Skit with the Eretion here, so we'll see how Skit is going to utilize that, as we'll definitely see it being first picked.
Fire Megami is such a great option to Eretion. It just basically feeds him 1 guaranteed turn right out the get.
It definitely does. But now Rex is more free to pick up these counters that he used even in game one, as that Josephine's not available. So Skit maybe a little bit lost here. Picks up that segment very fast, but now doesn't really know what to go for to counter these stunning munch that Rex is bringing.
Dang, Skippy. While we wait for these picks, I want to throw in Pedza and chat threw in a nice addition to the recommendation for Fire Legolas, saying that he's also 4-star skill upable. So if you have like a surplus of Legolases and you haven't known what to do with them, you could feed them to a Fire Legolas. That's a good way to do it and scale them up that way. Rax is taking some time. This is important. This is a game that could get him the lead in this matchup against Skit. Is locking in an Aya and a light harangue.
Not bad. Aya has been a huge menace on the ladder as well. He just kind of just quietly just sucks away all of the enemy HP. You get one debuff on it. Usually debuffs are at least 2 turns. So, if it takes those 2 turns, that's literally half of everyone's health gone on the opposing side. And when there's no heals on Skit's team, that is going to be very, very deadly damage. Would like to see Rexis maybe pick up a Juno here, but now Skit actually does have answers against that as well.
And then in that case, would you presumably ban the Chow? This is kind of signaling a light harangue ban so far, even though a 5th pick hasn't been set in stone.
Yeah, Rex, I'm not sure what Rexis could pick up here. Definitely needs a very influential last pick that can likely deal with the Chow as well as the Thessarian, because you kind of only really have Horang to do damage against those monsters. I mean, Shiho is quite strong, but obviously Chow cleanses those stuns, goes right through invisibility. The Burner is an interesting pick here. Haven't really seen Rexis use this monster at all, so I wonder what it's going to be built on.
It's a good question. And is it enough? That's the question that I find myself asking here. Yeah, the Thessarion is really dangerous, so there it is. Thessarion gets banned out. He's the president for a reason. He's got veto power. That's why we call him the president in Summoner's War. He can turn off any passive you want, and so he is out of there. Light Horang's out. Here we go, guys, into game 3.
This time the segment will be outspeeding the Shiho as opposed to game 1 when Rex had the speed advantage. Now the advantage is over the Skit with that Erection, and segment does connect. Megumi looking to clap back here, maybe get a stun on the Erection.
Oh, and he is rewarded for his attempt. There's not a lot of great options here for the Shiho on that first turn there, because, doesn't really have much to work with. Here comes the Gojo to try to scoop up some immunity and only gets 1 back. 14.7k is the number on that Justice at the beginning of the game, so keep that in mind as we scale into the mid to late game phase.
That is a lot of damage. It's already half of Shiho's HP gone just right away off on turn 1. Now Shizuka also utilized that skill 2, same skill 2 as Seimei, does lower the cooldown, so Justice is back on the menu, and that Shiho will probably be leaving the battlefield, and Chow may take over this match.
Yeah, there's not much to do. That's a great note, dude, because it's back online no matter what Shiho does, even through invincibility. Justice doesn't care. Justice will go through anything. Aya gets a nice little proc from her passive, though. Everybody's looking a little weaker. I didn't see the damage number on that, but regardless, Shiho is almost out the door.
Yeah, that was actually 13,000. It was a little bit less because the Aya sucked up some of Chow's health, so Chow not being at full health does do less damage, and that actually allows the Shiho to survive by the skin of his teeth, now getting the skills. Actually utilize the skill 3 right there. So Shizuka's skill 3 will have in this build available, but I don't think Shizuka's not going to take a turn here. Gojo doing great damage there. Aya's going to be reducing that HP to 1, and Chow on half health is not looking all too strong here, Evan.
No, can he do this? So this is where things start getting a little bit dangerous. I don't even know if you want to burn. No, I don't think he can. I don't even know if you want to burn the Justice on. I guess it's the biggest source of damage, so you do. But I was almost going to suggest you just start working on the Gojo and save skill 1 for Shiho.
That's game over. Megumi landed the defense break. Gojo the skill 2, 7,000 damage a hit. That would have nearly probably one-shot the Chow even if it was full health right there. So very nice burner last pick from Raxus right there. Really liking that.
You'd think we'd learned by now, right? We've been exposed to a lot of Water Werner because of the Americas Summit, and we've been really impressed with it there. And it's it has top tier artifacts, and you really see how much damage it can pump out. And here, where you also have top tier artifacts, I think the Water Gojo continues to impress us, right?
Definitely. Raxus is definitely a player. I mean, as every other player here too has great runes, great artifacts, and we just saw that is insane damage coming out of that Gojo right there.
Yeah. So well done. Rexis taking the lead here. Now, a 2-1 lead is phenomenal. That puts him at match point, but he's got to do it one more time here, right? It's a best-of-5 series. Skit has a second to lock in here. We know that he's capable of doing it. He had a super strong second round. That one even felt more powerful than the first round. He got control super early and kept it. So Topa, what do you want to see from him to see if he can even this out and take us to a game 5?
I want to see Skit just play his comfortable style here. I think he's played a lot of games on the ladder. He's actually played an insane amount of games on the ladder. He's been playing all season, you know, before the balance patch, after the balance patch, so he definitely knows what the meta is like. And one of the players is really taking their time here with the pre-ban. But yeah, I would like to see Skit just kind of stick to his guns and do what he, you know, is comfortable with. Maybe pick up the Irene-Ella combo.
Oh, and here's that. I love that suggestion. That was a powerful combo, actually. Just the Irene plus any skill cooldown. Chat seems to be stuck on Chow not living up to expectations. Whether or not he clutches it up, all roads still lead to Chow. Chat, we know that. We're well familiar. Let's see what Rexis does. I mean, I would think that it would be the Eretion, but like the hesitance is making me think he might be debating on something else.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that Rex is not just instant locking the restaurant. Obviously, he won that game too, where he had that restaurant first pick. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The restaurant admittedly did not contribute a whole lot in that match. It kind of just got targeted first and died off. But just the speed lead that restaurant gives is sometimes enough to push you over the edge.
Shows you the power of a monster getting a 33 lead. Immediately shot his pick rate up into the sky, like all the way up to the moon, and now he's being first picked here at the Legend Tournament. It's very good. I'm happy for him and the rest of the Dragon Warriors. They're a cool family.
Yeah, they really are, and we're seeing something else in this draft now. Rex is already going for a pretty early gap sweep, even when there are no heals at all on Skit's side.
Interesting. Yeah, and the Water Gandalf's already in the pre-ban. So it could just be that Rexis is sort of incorporated Gapsu into his comp at large here, or maybe he's expecting something. Whoa, rolling back on the Fire Legolas. There's the Ella. That's enough to proc Gapsu. And the Irene, like you called, Topa.
Yeah, we do see the Ella Irene combo. Now that Rexis has kind of locked into a little bit slower of a speed style here. Obviously, he had that Eretion first pick, so could opt to go fast. But this is just the why Eretion is by far the best unit in the game right now. It's so flexible. You can pivot into turn 2 so easily because he has that skill 1 defense break too for, you know, to set up your Jaeger. And now Rex is going for even more damage with the Beelzebub as well as a Bulwark to counter all the buffs that Ella Light can be putting up.
Dude, Rexis he's won my heart. Dude, this is such a fun comp that he's drafted, that he's brought to this Legend Tournament today. So the Dark Demon is so tough to play against because he kind of inverts the way that you normally threat assess in the game. It's like, you know, he really makes you careful about when you take out that big damage dealer. To me, I ban those, Topa. What do you do in this situation?
Yeah, the Nana has a huge counter to the Beelzebub, right? Because you can always just you can just farm the Beelzebub for more orbs on the Nana. And yeah, you know, ultimately just full on counter it. So I don't really expect Skit to be banning out the Beelzebub here. I wouldn't be opposed to a Eretion ban here, so that is the only form of defense break that Rexis has here. But we'll see what the bans come out.
And Gapsu and Ella. The Ella ban, I think I'm a proponent for an Ella ban. You know, Stoic has really gotten me on board with the Ella Irene, you know, propaganda. So separating those two is huge. All right, chat, lock in because this could be the last round of this set.
It could be, but I quite like Skit's position here. There's no unit stuns on Rex's side, so Josephine passive. Oh, but there is the miss from Irene.
That is exactly what Irene players hate to see, dude. The double resist. This is a big moment for Rex because I agree. The control that Skit has presented here is really strong. Dark Demon goes down. 2 orbs on Nana. It's going to drain 1 away when she gets revived here.
Yeah, it's going to drain 1 away. So as I was saying, there are no despair units or no stuns at all on Rex's side here. So the Josephine passive will never activate, but that also means that Bulwark's never really going to be getting stacks besides these 5, and he just violent procs out, and this is looking so good for Rexis.
Oh no! Dude, and he's taking his time here. He's choosing his target well. The way he's predating on somebody right now. He chooses the Qiang. So Skit can try to get as much ground as possible. This is looking tough.
It's looking really tough. Yeah, getting the revenge right there. I believe that dot is going to be enough to take out this Nana as well. So Skit really had to kill something before the Nana went down here. So we'd get that orb, then Demon comes back, kills something, the Nana revives it once again with that orb, then you can kill it again, you know. But if that Nana goes down before the Demon comes back, this is really bad for Skit. And it goes down to the dot.
Yeah, this is not looking too good. Oh, Rexis is looking to confirm that lead. Let's see if he can maintain it. I don't think that there's any chance for this. That Dark Demon is just waiting to come back.
Well, there's a chance. You can always violent proc on the turn the Demon comes back and just instantly kill it. That is the only chance that Skit has here. He has to kill. He kills Jaeger here, violent procs, kills the Demon. That is the only chance that Skit ever wins. Even then, it's very difficult against two full health monsters. Can he get the proc? He does get the proc. Game over.
And that's it. Look at this. Ignore defense, bring back the Jaeger, and now we are officially in the chain. Rexis takes it 3-1 against Skit to become our first finalist. Dang, Topa, that was sick.
Very well drafted by Rexis, all games right there. You know, he had a little bit of a cold start right there, losing that first game. Skit took the game one, but Rax adapted immediately, just banning that Gandalf Josephine combo that he couldn't deal with that game one. And, you know, it was just smooth sailing ever since then.
Yeah, that seemed to make him way more comfortable. You know, I liked what he was bringing, and clearly Skit saw it as a threat too, because, you know, we saw the Berghild getting that respect pre-ban. I liked that. It showed that he was tapped into something. It just didn't really work in his favor that time. It's like, dang, yeah, Rax has showed up, and now all of a sudden we're in a legend tournament with no previous legends, Topa.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I'm quite sure that
we'll
neither
double check
the
that.
rank 2 or 3 have gone legend. I guess we'll see that in a very shortly here. But Raxis, yeah, getting that final spot. Super excited to see him. You know, super excited to see more games from Raxis later tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right, chat. It could be the case that we may just not recognize the name. We should say these players under these names have not at least appeared.
Right.
We'll find out if we're 100% confirmed on that when we come around. We'll find it out live. Chat, I'd love to see how you guys are enjoying this Legend tournament so far. Give me a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. Think about it, because we'll be right back after this short break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the RTA Season 36 Legend Tournament, where Topa and I just saw Rexis advance to become our first finalist of the night.
Yeah, and hopefully you guys did in chat too. Hopefully you guys didn't miss that because those were some great games. Rex has really put on a show, and so did Skit. Very well played to both players, but ultimately only one can move on. And huge congrats to Rex for making it to finals. His job is not done, but he's one step closer to getting that legend title.
That's right. Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him because he's got to fight the next finalist. We have two more players that are coming up here in a second, and it has been so exciting. Before break, I asked you guys to rate your experience so far. We got people say, look at this, Ultra Death Lord, 7.5 out of 10. That's, you know what? I'll take it. 9 out of 10 from Pizza. But of course, Mad Havoc throwing the whole thing out of whack by saying 47 out of 10. That's crazy. Good job, dude. Thank you for throwing off the curve like that. Yeah, mine's pretty close to 47 right now, too, Topa.
Yeah, so far great games, and I gotta admit I'm a little biased here. I'm definitely rooting for Rex a little bit here, a good friend of mine. So great to see him advance here as we look at the highlights here. Skit had that very nice game one with that Josephine just absolutely popping off.
Yeah, this is that one where the Josie was doing an AoE control sort of combo on her own. It was pretty fun to watch, depending on what side you're rooting for, I suppose. Rexis was probably really feeling that one. Got one win for Skit, but Rexis put on an amazing show from then on.
Yeah, he definitely adapted better than Skit did here. He figured out that Gandalf Josephine was a big problem. He did split the combo in the game one by banning the Gandalf. After that, he just put the Gandalf in the pre-ban, and when he couldn't do that, he put the Josephine in the pre-ban, and that seemed to do the trick, as he didn't drop a single game past that game one.
Yeah, shows you what a strong player he is too. Look at this, the Chow that unfortunately couldn't clutch it up against the might of the Water Gojo. That's skill 2. Look at those numbers. I mean, it's only going to get worse from there.
Yeah, the Water Gojo putting up some challenge mode numbers right there with over 4,000 damage a hit without defense break, and then obviously with the defense break here, 7,000 damage a hit. Like, that is insane.
Yes,
monster
exactly.
as tanky as that unit is.
I like oh my god, in that moment we just had to relive the double res. Oh my god, and when you're down, poor Skit, bro. But that was very unfortunate for him, but look at the resilience of the team that Rexis brought.
Yeah, especially with that Dark Demon coming back and then just slapping 67,000 damage onto that Irene right there, bringing back the Jaeger full health, and I mean, it was long over. It was basically over when Irene missed the bag, to be completely honest. And Rexis had a very strong draft, so Skit really couldn't afford to miss anything there.
It was, you bring her to put something in the bag, and when she doesn't put something in the bag, it kind of hurts, them's the breaks. It was tough, but I was a big fan of Rexis's draft going in. I think we both liked it. It was very flashy, resilient, we said too. I'm glad people in chat are enjoying it as well. Folks, you guys are seeming pretty hyped about this. So root for Rexis as he goes forward if you enjoyed his play style, but we have to find his competitor, the last finalist, between Qiang and Big Ugg, and it looks like we were right, Topa.
Yeah, they are not. Well, that is actually rank 46, best rank on Big Ugg. So very well done by Big Ugg to make the Legend tournament here. He's been playing a lot of that Dark Monkey that we see Qiang pre-banning out here now, as we see Qiang's Dark Aragorn, that new collaboration monster. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing it in the match here.
Yeah, and also Qiang too. It's like they've been high before. So also that rank 3 means that they have likely been in a Legend tournament, perhaps. Maybe we had forgotten, but never achieved Legend. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And Erechion is the first pick for this one.
Yeah, that is not surprising at all, seeing the Erechion. If it's not in the pre-bans, it's probably going to be in that first pick slot, and that has been 100% true for tonight's tournament. And Big Ugg kind of running out of time here, going for a Jaeger first pick and picking up the Water Dracon Warrior here alongside.
Kind of interesting, a little on the we'll call it more a slower, more reactive side with Jaeger. The Solvark is the one that I was actually going to ask for earlier. I love the Erechion Solvark combo. I think some people have kind of grown out of it a little bit. It was popular for a second when Erechion really got that first 33 lead from the balance patch most recently. I'm glad to see him here today. There's the Light Nina. We were just talking about that one too.
Yeah, Light Nina, one of the only units that has innate seal in her skills, so obviously can do a lot of AoE damage as well. And Qiang seems to be going for a AoE cleave-ish style here with that Laura additional damage, as well as providing the AoE buff remove for these AoE monsters then take over.
Yeah, there are only 2 monsters in the game that natively apply seal. Chat, can you name the other one without looking it up? And this is not counting her SW original variation. That counts as 1 character. What is the other monster, chat? You let me know. If you can't guess it, then I'll tell you when we get into the game. Dark Megumi. This is an exciting draft.
Yeah, Qiang going for all of the AoE buff removers. He has 4 AoE buff removers, as Tianlang is also, I mean, in theory, it is a AoE buff remover with that skill too, and then that Nina's just looking to have a lot of additional damage on these monsters, and just AoE cleave down Big Ug's team here. We'll see what Big Ug can pick up here to hopefully stop Qiang from doing that to him.
Yeah, we'll see what he drafts. It's Aya. Surprise, surprise. What a great last pick into the Dark Megami. Also, yes, chat, it is Duamutef, the Fire Horus. Nice guess. Good job, guys. Good job. Yeah. Light Nina and Duamutef are the only 2 monsters in the game that natively apply seal. Everything else needs the runes for it. Let's see what goes out here. Usually Aya would soak up the ban when she's last picked, so it's kind of exciting to get her in here.
Yeah, interesting that Aya is not being respected in the ban. No surprise to see the Light Nina in the ban here, as that is sort of the only damage dealer. All of the other monsters kind of fill the same role of that AoE buff remover. So we'll see if Qiang really has the additional damage artifacts to back up this draft.
Oh, let's see. Also, apologies for maybe new players in chat. I realize I'm saying Aya and seeing the win Novara there might be confusing for people too. But yeah, Aya is the Summoner's War original name for the win Novara. And here comes the domain expansion, setting up defense breaks everywhere. This could be big damage, actually.
Oh, the defense buff, speed buff, that Erection is doing so much damage with that skill to, and obviously getting that turn cycling in that balance patch. One of the bigger reasons why we're seeing Solvarg in play too, does have that, share that skill too, and so we have a little bit of a technical difficulties there.
Could be a technical difficulty. Could be a scoop. I don't know what happened there. We'll get confirmation from the refs for that one. But that was looking like a cleave from defense-based monsters, Toba.
Yeah, definitely. That defense buff that Laura provides is only 1 turn, but 1 turn is all you really need for that massive AoE damage right there.
Yeah. We got Toxic Amnesia. Remember, chat, only take Wind Nobara into low damage debuff comps. Honestly, very good tip. Very good tip here. Reflect on that while we see what happens in this game here. Apparently, there was a connection issue of some kind, but I think the connection is the least of his concerns there, Topa.
Yeah, seemed like he didn't really want those first 2 picks, the Jaeger or Solvark, and I mean it was kind of all over in the draft from that point on. So maybe he realized like, shoot, like I didn't want those 2 picks, so trying to take it back, but ultimately we'll just have to wait and hear what happens here.
Yeah, and thank you for bearing with us here, chat, too. We'll see how the refs want to rule this, because to be totally honest, if they wanted to redo that game, I'd see that as fair potentially, because I think we both thought that maybe that was a little bit odd. It seemed like those first 2 picks went to time, so we might have a genuine connection issue. I don't think. We'll see what the refs rule it for. But yeah, in theory, Topa, like you're saying, Jaeger, Solvark, not traditional first, second picks.
Yeah, definitely not against an Erection, right? You probably have. Well, Solvarg is typically used with Erection, as you mentioned, that Erection Solvarg plus Eschir was the strongest combination in G3 for a little bit at least. Might still be the strongest combo. But yeah, those are used together, and then Jaeger is obviously more of a turn 2 monster counter pick. So if you either go, the AoE speed route with the Solvarg, or you go the turn 2 position with the Jaeger, you probably don't really want to mix those, especially not in the first 2 picks.
Yeah, it's so true. Oh, it looks like we're continuing. So the connection issue was actually just during the game. And so here we go. We're going back into it. Just the additional turn from that. off that skill 2. This is looking pretty rough for Big Ugg down here.
It's looking very rough. We probably could have just, skipped the rest of this match and gone on the next game after that connection issue, because this match is completely over. There is no way that Big Ugg is coming back from this.
Yeah, ain't no way. Well, I say that, but then, Aya drains, and it's over. That's a one for Qiang there. Yeah, just to finish that thought, right? I think you called it out so eloquently, right? Like, if you see a Reshion on the other side and you're not racing, if you want to go off to the races, you can try to do something. You can match speed leads and try to compete for turn 1. Alternatively, Xingxie has been a popular second pick, so has Fire Megumi, right? Gives you a speed lead option, but also feeds you turns for that turn 2 playstyle.
Right, something to, disrupt that turn 1 potential, and as well as having that speed lead. We've seen some players utilize Oliver, obviously matching that speed lead, and Oliver can still be quite a strong monster. There's a couple of players on the ladder that have used Oliver to a great extent, but now we see the best answer to Reshion. Just put in the pre-ban.
It's true. We're going to get some honest speed leads now. We're going to get some old school speed leads, I should say. Yeah, Reshion, sit down, bro. You haven't done your time on the ladder yet. Let's see something else. I don't. Now here we go. Big Ugg. We don't actually know what he values. It's Craig. That was not on my radar.
Yeah, that was not a monster I was expecting to see here either, but it is going to be what we are going to be seeing Craig. There's a couple of ways you can play Craig. I'm not sure of all the LDs that Big Ugg has available. Maybe he has a Velasca comp. That's something that you could do with the Craig, or you could just be going parents with a Vanessa and, going for like a Vanessa Yanhang style that we've seen Sapin use a little bit.
Okay, people in chat seem to really like this play. We got Craig, holy Chad, dude. Yeah, it is a Chad move to first pick Craig at a Legend tournament. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty awesome. And then we get the Laura here in the Fire Nosuke, some starter options. This is very cool.
Yeah, that it definitely is. So it's kind of just a standalone Craig pick, seems like. We kind of have a Craig first pick, and then we kind of go more standard, like some, bruiser mid-ranges with the Laura, as well as that Fire Pig making its return. Obviously can dodge all those debuffs quite strong since the last bounce patch as well. But on the other side, we see probably one of the strongest monsters in current meta as well is that Dark Aragorn.
What we're seeing from Qiang on this side is like a really cohesive, like difficult to fight comp. We got a strong opening, and then a lot of great follow-up here with that Dark Aragorn, like you're talking about. The Light Nina is super powerful. She got some balance changes that just made her excessively strong.
Yeah, doing just 25% of enemies max HP as extra damage. If they have a debuff on that skill 3, can make her a very strong cleave monster. Also does have a speed lead, so there's already double speed on Qiang's side. But Big Ugg is opting to go for a slower play here. Now, realize that he has no speed leads and no high base speed Swift unless Laura is on Swift. But even if it is, she doesn't really do anything to connect the team. So just going for a Ragdoll Heigang here, going for that turn 2 play.
Yeah, I really favor Qiang here, and I could eat my words. The only thing is that, Big Ugg seemed to really kind of roll back that Craig pick. There's not a whole lot of support for that here.
Yeah, it's a very standalone Craig pick, but he does have Heigang Ragdoll, so definitely could be cutting in here and making a life difficult for Qiang here. So he does take turn 1, and we'll see how much this Gojo can push back, or how much does it crit here. But actually opting to go for a sure skill 3, just actually boosting up Big Ugg's team. Very strange play right there.
Let's see how this impacts him on the clapback. So, because now this is opening him up to get glanced by Heigang here if he opens with Craig's third skill. He's taking a lot of time to think about this. Chooses to reduce the Light Nina instead.
Yeah, doesn't want to boost up with the Craig there, because that would make the Heigang move in front as well as the Ragdoll, and then the Light Gojo could actually just freely use a skill 3 cleanse, and then the glancings would not be on the side of Qiang here. So often just use a skill 2 there and make the Heigang move after. Now it does have that glancing applied.
That's a great note. Very well explained, dude. And look at that. The Dark Aragorn coming in here. Can they secure the kill? Just so close on that. Also, Light Nina is asleep. That's not how I was going to end that sentence.
Yeah, that Light Nina is not going to be getting turned here. Craig getting so much attack power boost that skill 3. Obviously absorbed a lot of attack power with that skill 2. Got into that skill 3 very fast. And just boosting the team up. And now with the simple skill 1, Nina will be leaving the battlefield. But now they're still healing from Ashir. So this game's far from over.
Yeah, there's a lot of staying power for Qiang here. It's not really present. I'm wondering if Big Ugg might get the opportunity to do an ignore defense torrent in a minute. We're getting a little close to that, actually.
We are. So Qiang not using that skill 3 from the Gojo, doesn't want to do the AoE damage to the Ragdoll, but now actually just opts to go for the Ragdoll. It sure does not have skill 3 available, so that big damage is not available, but maybe the Gojo with the skill 3 cleanses those debuffs, does get extra damage, could take it out.
Oh, let's see here. Qiang with the Gojo. So close. Ignore defense torrent. This could be big. Big Ugg taking out the Dark Aragorn. This, you know, I might be eating my words here, Topa. I was saying that I liked it, but he's actually being pretty persistent.
It's still very close here, just greeding, not taking out the Ragdoll. That is extremely greedy, as Craig, I think, is going to get a skill 3 off, and Ragdoll did proc, so Ragdoll's going to get another torrent off.
If he procs, he can ignore defense again. Oh, wait, he already has it. Oh my god, I miscounted the turns. Wait.
Oh, that is over. Yeah, the Ragdoll got the violent proc in the turn prior, so got back in the torrent. That was very greedy from Qiang, not taking the kill on Ragdoll. Opted to go for the Hey Gang, but I'm not sure if it would have mattered in the end. Craig actually has pretty good solo potential, as it does leech or just absorb life with that skill 3, as well as has a life drain on the skill 2, as well as a lot of turn cycling.
That's a good point. I guess maybe, you know, I'm more familiar seeing, and I think a lot of us are pretty used to seeing Craig picked in an AoE cleave, you know, kind of environment or whatever like that, and he seemed to fit the bruiser strat pretty well.
He definitely did. Got a lot of turns, and yeah, has some solo potential too. So, you know, in even those cleave styles that you play, you may be left with a couple monsters. Obviously, your cleavers or your cleaving monster are going to be very fragile. But that Craig, HP scaling, high base HP, can definitely, you know, take the match over in a 1v2 situation even.
Ah, look at this. We got an update from the chat here. Ultra Deathlord, who was previously a 7.5 out of 10 on the enjoyment scale, is now at a 9.5 out of 10 for me, at least. That's what they say. He says that was crazy. 2 ignore defense torrents in one game. That'll do that.
That'll do. That'll do. Yeah, not often you see that, but now Big Ugg is actually taking the Dark Megami away from Qiang here and just go for that Craig. It worked well, so why not?
He's back on the team. Congratulations, Craig. Oh, the Eretion Solvark. Whoa, and Veronica. This is a lot of power that Qiang is presenting.
Yeah, Qiang recognizes that Big Ugg doesn't have any speed leads or any high base speed, so you can actually get away with a Veronica pick here. Because that's obviously the main counter to Veronica nowadays, is that she's kind of on the lower base speed, right? She doesn't... What the heck is this? We have a Fridrion, the light Drakon warrior. All the Drakon warriors are coming out to play now.
Wait a minute, chat. Wait, chat. Where are my JJK fans at? Because this is legitimately Megami with Maharaga and Nobara. Because Fridrion, okay, I love this monster's design. Once you apply a debuff to him, he adapts. The wheel spins and he cannot be applied with that same debuff again. Literally Megami and Maharaga, chat. I'm hyped.
That's very cool to see. But what is also cool to see is Qiang is kind of cleaving in a Legend tournament. Once again, it worked out pretty well for him in that first game. He lost the second game when he didn't cleave. So, you know, maybe the cleave is what he's got to do to take those points here.
Yeah. All right. Qiang is also winning me over with his drafting style. Like, there's a lot of volatility over there. Maximilian out of nowhere is cool. And I just enjoy Solvark's play. Leo at the end to try to gain... He's going full turn 2. There's a lot of hesitancy in this 5th pick here, Topa.
There is it. You're already at such a back foot here, right? You don't have any speed leads, any high base speed monsters. So speed contesting is completely out the window. So you kind of have just assumed this turn 2 position. And Angela, I'm not sure if Angela is the best pick here, as obviously it didn't even get banned out. I feel like I would have maybe liked that Leo a bit more, just nullify that additional damage by speed, as that is the main source of damage on Qiang's side of the field.
Okay, let's see this again. No matter what, this is not going to be the last game. We're in a best of 5 series. Veronica throws it out. There's 2 resistances in play, and those are actually pretty key ones.
Ooh, but the Despair Eretion getting 2 Despair Stance, as well as there's the extra turn or full attack bar from that skill 2. Not going for the skill 3 yet.
And look at that. The Fridrion is already getting... we're already seeing how strong that unit is, too. It's like the defense buff whenever you're applied with a debuff. It's kind of sick.
Yeah, and we see why Angela probably wasn't the best pick here, as Angela doesn't take a single turn. Dies off that Escher skill tree. This is why Escher is so strong. He's getting that speed buff, and then the damage on that skill tree is just insane. And the Reshion is getting all of these stuns.
Guys, I was so hyped. I was legitimately so hyped for this combo, and it's not, unfortunately, it's just not working. Hey, I didn't say it was good. I just said I was hyped. You know?
There is a big difference. You know, we got the content draft and we got the actual good draft. And, you know, unfortunately, the good draft wins out here instead of the content draft. The Fridrion, we saw the power Fridrion, and the power is kind of non-existent. Maybe we'll see the Fridrion in a balance patch once again.
Maybe, chat. That's the Maharaja. Help! That's what that audio was, dude. Yeah, it's kind of lacking. All right, chat. Chat's already calling for buffs on these units that just got buffed in the last balance patch. Okay, we'll see if we can bring that back up. Chat, I'm glad you liked the reference. Appreciate y'all. And thank you guys for being up with us tonight, too, watching the Legend Tournament. This is a great way to spend a Friday night. Here we go, guys. The last round pre-bans are now back on the table, so that means we could see Dark Aragorn back again, as well as the Sun Zhong Lao.
Yep, and what is not available once again is that Eresion. So the game 1 and game 3, Qiang did have Eresion, he did win those games. And in game 2, neither player obviously had Eresion as Qiang pre-banned it, but Beigag did take that game 2. We'll see if the Craig makes its return once again.
Yeah, it's like, you know, find myself asking the question. It's like, was Craig really the problem? He's maybe not. He sold me on the Craig.
Yeah, Craig did pretty well in that game too. In the game 3, you know, you kind of just got cleaved, right? Like,
yeah,
obviously
he got reset, he got stunned, he got cleaved. Exactly. Dark Megami. Whoa. We're moving quick and then redacting our choices. Here comes the Light Gojo back again, and the Dark Aragorn is locked in. I like how LD heavy this is. That's what I like to see in the Legend Tournament.
Yeah, Qiang is definitely leveraging his LDs here, trying to go for that cleave in every single game. We saw it didn't really fully work on in game 2 when Big Uk had the Hey Gang, had the Ragdoll, so definitely had counters to disrupt that combo in the game 2 as well. It's also kind of just outspeeding to some extent. So maybe Qiang's gonna adapt to that, picking up that wounds possibly as well to really just assert that turn 1 dominance.
Qiang resisting the urge to go back in time to 2024 and dig out that Julian from the storage. Instead, opting for Solvark, which, you know, he's been cool. We haven't gotten a chance to really see him super pop off yet, but he's great.
I mean, he's done a lot of damage, and that's all he's really needed to do. Hasn't really needed the control factor of him. Qiang has provided so much damage with that monster, and also taking away the Hey Gang, one of the counters to his current draft, as well as filling that second AoE buff remover role. And now Beigag is going for a Layla and a Wind Indra. I know we see this monster fall out of meta, but this could be quite strong. But the Hey Gang also does kind of counter both of them.
In the Maximilian, making a return again. Qiang sitting at match point, really wanting to get that 3rd point on the board to become the finalist that meets Rexis over there in the finals of this Legend Tournament. People in chat, Ultra Death Lord begging for the Maxi. Qiang is just kind of like dangling it in front of us here and ultimately locks him in.
Yeah, locks it in. I wonder if he's going to be fast enough here. He's probably going to be banning out the Chandra, the only speed lead on Big Ug's side here. But his Light Gojo is lightly getting banned out, so he has no Swift units on his side. And no, it's instead going to be the Layla ban, just fully relying on this Hey Gang here to get him through this. But with the Chandra boost and the Dark Megami pushback, I don't think Hey Gang is enough to cut in here.
It may not get the chance. Let's see what Big Ug can do here. He needs a point on the board to take this to a 5th game. We're getting the domain expansion. We get all that, but Hey Gang says no.
And the tuning is a bit off here, but actually, it's still not enough attack bar. The Wind Indra does cut in, and with no buffs now, this is going to do a lot of damage. Also applying branding and attack break. But it looks like some of the speed tuning got messed up there. Chandra did resist, and now still all the AoEs are being thrown into the build-up Chandra.
That really did kind of mess up the synergy of the cleave, but it ended up giving the Dark Aragorn a moment to increase everyone's cooldown times. Monsters are starting to fall. Everybody's at low HP except for Chandra.
Yeah, this is going to be very close. Of course, the Dragon Strike, I think that's going to take out the... Yep, Solvark is going to die as the defend was there. And the Chandra probably has enough health to finish this off here for Big Ug. And I think we're going to game 5 here soon, Evan.
I think so too. These guys are trying to give us a fun show, and it's working. I'm having a great time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Not going for the stun onto the chakra here, the Wind Indra. And now actually not doing a whole lot of damage there, having the Sun debuff sitting on top of it. But Wind Indra, oh, the Chandra with the Violent Proc doing a lot of damage to that skill 1 auto crit as well.
Well done from Big Ugg. That was nice. I actually thought that for a second, it kind of looked like, even though the tuning got thrown off a little bit, with the Dark Aragorn pushing everybody back and increasing cooldown times, I thought that maybe he had assembled kind of a weird like tableau situation where he gets another round of combat. Didn't exactly work out that way though, Topa.
Yeah, the Hay Gang or the Chandra resisting the Hay Gang was just kind of too much. We saw the Chandra then got, that defend off, that ultimately then revenge killed the Solvark, as well as the huge damage on that skill 3. It is HP scaling. And if you get those crits, Chandra is usually built on crit damage that can do a lot of damage, and we saw come to fruition there for a Big Ugg.
Toxic amnesia. Now Dark Aragorn owners are gonna say he sucks. And that is, nobody's saying that. He's amazing.
He definitely is, and we see Big Ugg finally adapt here. It took all the way to get game 5 for him to realize that Erection is a problem, and that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, it took 4 previous games to confirm what we knew. Dark Aragorn, that's what I'm saying, chat. Still so good, even following a game like that, following a disaster. He's so good here.
Yeah, getting first picked here. Interesting to see that as a first pick, though, because I don't think Big Ugg has that monster. They do share the Laura, at least, as well as a couple other LDs, so would think that maybe they prioritize those, but no, he just believes in this Dark Aragorn fully and smacks it in right away.
Yeah, raw picking a Dark Aragorn in that first slot is a little crazy, so now we're seeing potentially some setup following it in the Hay Gang with the AoE strip to open up the enemy team, so that way you can increase their cooldown times afterwards. Looking for a backup plan here. Our previous favorite increased cooldown timer. I really should have thought that sentence more. It's Oliver, baby. He's back again for the first time this whole tournament.
Yeah, I do like this Hay Gang pick as well. It's obviously quite a good counter against this Dark Megumi. And we saw that Dark Megumi is moving from the Chandra, so he doesn't get that boost ahead, so he can kind of just disrupt that. But now Big Ugg trying to do his best to disrupt the disruption in the Tian Lang.
NASA says this is a windfall game if I've ever seen one. Yeah, this might be the only windfall game I've ever seen, to be honest. This is pretty great. And then Windobara, Aya, and then Anavel in that last slot.
So Qiang finally going for a bit more defensive of a draft here. He's been just full steam ahead, cleave or die trying here, but now actually pivoting a little bit, going to Aya, Windobara, as well as Anavel, getting some heals, and Aya once again just quietly taking away a lot of health from the opposing team.
He's reaching into that LD corner of Qiang's box. I didn't even know he could reach over there, and he's pulling out a Veronica. That's kind of crazy. You make a good point that we haven't seen Qiang take it this, I'll say slow. I don't truly mean slow, but you know what I mean. Less volatile, less high damage. This is the last game, everybody, by the way. Big Ugg versus Qiang. We will have our next finalist at the end of this match.
And Dark Megumi once again getting that opener, but there's the Hay Gang to counter Dark Megumi. I believe they get equal amounts of bar. The Megumi does push back 40%, and Hay Gang would gain that 40% back as well. But there's the Tianlang cut, and not getting a whole lot of stuns though. No defense break either on that Violent Proc.
I don't know how to feel about the Dark Megumi into a Hay Gang, man. That does not... It doesn't feel like the best AoE strip option.
It definitely doesn't. And interesting to see Big Ugg not go for the Annabelle here, as Annabelle is... Okay, the pig didn't get any control. But as long as the Annabelle doesn't get control here, she's going to get a full cleanse here. So much value with that heal as well. And now Qiang is going to clap back with all these resets that are going to be raining down on Big Ugg's team.
Oh, no, Big Ugg. Yeah, that is the best case scenario for an Annabelle skill 2. That was the maximum value like you can get. Here comes a big skill 3 to set up the defense breaks. This is looking like the exact situation that Big Ugg was trying to manufacture at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, it definitely did. And obviously Hay Gang countered the defense breaks from the Dark Megumi. And now the Annabelle with the turn 2 getting the defense breaks. Dark Aragorn with that team attack from Oliver. A lot of damage taking out the Dark Megumi. And Big Ugg's team is still being controlled here.
Yeah, Big Ugg is not going to have an easy time coming back from this. The enemy team is looking vaguely healthy, and a stun on TL is not going to help matters. Qiang is making waves.
He definitely is Annabelle getting that additional turn, like getting the heal, Aragorn getting the additional turn as well. Everything's just going right. The branding sits on top of this. Oliver on crit rate, doing 17,000 damage. That's a lot of damage. The pig still have a 2-turn defense break sitting on top of it.
That's looking like it, chat. I'm thinking Qiang is going to be our next finalist to go meet Rexis in the final.
Oh my, even with the debuff dodging on this passive, it's just taking every debuff right now. The stun, the glancing, and the slow right there from Aragorn, also getting attacked by Reduce. How his passive does not counter that. And even getting crit by the Wind Oliver. Why not? Just had some insult to injury there for good measure. And Qiang will be moving on to the finals.
Man, you hate to see it. That crit off element like that just to, kick you while you're down. Well done, Qiang, and great show, Big Ugg, as well. It was fun to watch. He brought some really interesting picks there, Topa, like stuff that we haven't traditionally seen.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate the Craig picks there. Very fun monster, kind of an underrated monster in my opinion. Even in the Bruiser draft, did very well. I mean, that's the draft he won in. Obviously, kind of lost in the other more speed-based draft, but. Yeah, very nice drafting coming out of Big Ugg there as well. And, previous best rank 46 or something. So very well done just making it to Legend Tournament for him here.
Yeah, for real. That's a huge jump to make it from there to here. And guys, something from us to you. We got our first coupon code. Look at this. LTB 3G1NAG4IN. It's a bunch. Legend Tournament begin again. We got energy, 105 mystical scrolls, just for hanging out and watching some fun games of RTA with us super late at night. It is a crisp 1:43 in the AM for me right now, and we're still going strong here, Topa.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Love being here and seeing these amazing games casting alongside the GOAT Evan. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
The GOAT Topa. I know. I always have so much fun with you too, dude. And I'm so glad that we still have one more game ahead of us. These have just been the semifinals, guys. We still have the finals coming up after this short break. Welcome back, everyone, to the RTA Season 36 Legend Tournament. This time for the finals. Topa, we had a stellar series of semis.
Oh yeah, for sure. We had some great games between Rex and Skit as well as Qiang and Big Ugg right there. And ultimately, we find ourselves at the final between Rexis and Qiang.
Look at this, dude. Yeah, this was a fun series to watch. I really appreciate what Big Ugg was bringing to the table. Even though it didn't necessarily work out for him in the long run, he brought some really memorable comps, you know? We've already highlighted the Craig. He was a big believer in the Fire and No-Skate, too.
Yeah, he really was. He just didn't really have an answer against the AoE cleave that Qiang brought out a lot of the times. You know, he had a pretty nice answer in game 2 with that Hagen Ragdoll combo. But a lot of the time, he kind of just fell short. And, I mean, we saw in that game when he got absolutely cleaved.
Oh, this is probably my favorite of Big Ugg's performances. This is the one where we got to see the double ignore defense torrent from Ragdoll.
Yeah, Qiang getting a bit greedy right there with that Ashir going for the Hey Gang right here instead of confirm the kill on the Ragdoll. We always talk about how important it is to confirm those kills. And maybe had a slight miscalculation on Craig cooldowns. You know, probably didn't expect that skill 3 to be back up and, you know, boosting that Ragdoll into the torrent. But it didn't matter as once again in game 3, he just got cleaved.
Exactly. And as fun as this comp could have been, it unfortunately faltered to what Qiang was bringing, which was straight gas, chat. This was a lot to deal with, and Big Ugg's team unfortunately was disassembled live.
Yeah, just didn't have, I mean, just no disruption, right? Just, you know, some healing with the Angela. The Angela never took a turn. So you don't have the Ragdoll to give you attack bar, you don't have any like Wind Monkey to get a revenge stun, you don't have any Fire Megami to cut in and disrupt, so there's no disruptions. You can't just let Qiang do his whole thing, and ultimately, you know, just kind of ended in you just dying quite fast. But in this game 4, we saw get a nice resist on Chandra. That was ultimately all he needed, because Qiang's team ultimately is quite fragile.
Yeah, that one did go to Big Ugg, and then to our 5th game. Man, I know he was big on that Fire and No-Skate, but I couldn't help but wish that it was just maybe, you know, any other slot or any other monster in that slot.
Almost, yeah. We saw it do absolutely nothing, especially against his Annabelle here, you know, not landing off element, probably on a 100 res monster. I mean, it didn't land anything on anything, really, but even as all it needed to do was miss on the Annabelle, and Annabelle would pick the team back up, and after that, it was just a kind of a Oliver show alongside the other resets from the Dark Argorn, as well as that insane 3-turn defense break, 2-turn slow coming out of Annabelle skill 3.
And then that was GG. And so now Qiang is queued up to fight Rexis in the finals, which we're keeping with the best of 5 format, by the way, chat. And by the end of this, we are going to have our season 36 legend. So now, Topa, I want to ask you this. How do you think Qiang is going to do up against Rexis?
I definitely favor Rexis in this matchup, actually. I think Rexis has a lot more, or he's playing a lot more speed, right? We saw him, if he doesn't have that Reshion, he's taking a Megumi Water Monkey. So it's definitely finding that speed with the high base speed monsters, the speed leads, and that's completely going to counter a cleave playstyle that Qiang has been bringing. So Qiang will need to adapt like he did in game 5, to his credit. So he's capable of, you know, dropping down to a lower speed, playing a little bit more mid-range with the Annabelle, and that's what he needs to do to take down Rexis. But I do favor Rexis going this matchup here.
Yeah, there might be that window in the beginning where Rexis could kind of exploit that before he starts taking Qiang out of his comfort zone. So that sounds great. This is going to be a very fun series in this finals here. Let's see. I'd love to hear who Chad is rooting for right now too, Rexis or Qiang, both newcomers to the finals in the Legend tournament here. I think the highest placement outside of the Legend that was Skit for season 14 was a 3rd ranking here, the 3rd highest of the RTA season. So we are in new territory for these players right now, Topa.
Yeah, we will be crowning a brand new legend, you know, not only for season 36, but obviously, you know, their first legend ever. So someone's going to get that statue on their island, going to get their name engraved into the Hall of Fame, which is super cool.
That is really, really cool. We got some votes coming in. Yeah, I'll take Rax. Yes, Evan versus Legend 30. Evan's who I'm voting for. We got some Rax voters in chat as well. Look at this, guys. Awesome. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the votes of confidence, guys. I don't think I'd make it that far in the Legend tournament, but I appreciate the blind confidence. I appreciate you guys. Dude, so yeah, I think Rax has made a really good show for us in the beginning, so it's hard to root against him after something like that. I also think that he's got a good shot here. Let's see. I am just happy, like you pointed out, that we're getting some new blood in that Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's always super cool to see. We love seeing our household names. Pooh just barely didn't make the cut off the Legend tournament here today. I believe he was 3 or 4 points off, maybe even two. It was very close. It was a very close race for, the top four between 5 players, but ultimately Pooh fell out of it. And yeah, we're getting a new Legend, which is always great to see. Maybe they bring in some new strategies, some new perspectives into these tournaments, and I love it.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of new strategies coming up, folks in chat, are you planning to play in the special league in between seasons? And what about you, Topa? Are you going to be playing in the special league?
Yeah, definitely, mess around a little bit right there. I think it's going to be a lot of Water Gandalf, Josephine, Erechion in there, as we don't have the LDs available, but it's always pretty cool to see, some free-to-play comps and, what are really the free-to-play units that shine.
Yeah, should be fun. Hey, chat, maybe bring tricks, bring Layla, bring stuff. Find some buff blockers or something, and we'll see what changes. We'll see. Maybe something changes in between seasons. We never know. It could be interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. I don't have a lot of LDs to use. That means I'm gonna have to wait a while before I can bust out my Elena for the first time, though.
Right, yeah, you can't use that Elena now, which is a little bit of a shame, and it's also a bit of a shame that we can't use Shumar. Just kind of looking forward to using like Shumar in RTA, the newly released Second Awakens. But oh my goodness, we're already done with the draft. What's
Wait,
going
whoa,
on here?
whoa! What? I thought something was off. Wait, guys, we are in the game, but like literally in the game. Shiho's taking turn one from Rex's side.
All right, so what happened here? We have a 33 speed lead on the side of Qiang. Also went for a definitely, non-cleave style playstyle here, going for a Layla. The Smicer was banned out, and Rexis, responding to his LDs, but no heals on either side. So this is going to be really a time picking for both players. Qiang does have a little bit of shields from Josephine, though.
Love the ban on Rakuni. I want to shout that out. It's like sandwich, surrounded by LD5s. Rakuni picked up the ban. Honestly, sometimes banning the sustain is just the right thing to do, and he also enables some interesting combos here. Look at this. Look at the damage coming out early from Light Harang. That Layla is not long for this world, Topa.
It really isn't. Layla already used her skill too. Didn't get a whole lot of debuffs. Nothing on the Horang or the Mega. Obviously, those are off element for her. But Josephine getting a 3-turn provoke on the Monkey. That's going to be out of the fight for a long time here.
Dude, that's my favorite combo with Nyx provokes. It's so oppressive, demanding that you're basically dictating how your opponent plays the game with anything over a 2-turn provoke. Very cool. Layla dropped, like we said. But we've been here before. I've seen the Light Harangue into Josephine, and it doesn't always end well.
We have seen this before, but Rex now has a Jaeger paired with the Light Harangue too, so another monster that cannot be controlled at all. And now it is sealed up for a couple turns, so can't get any bottom procs, but even that skill one does a lot of damage.
The skill one from that Jaeger did that to the Oliver. Like, I don't see Qiang coming back from this, to be honest, because even just from here, I don't know how you take down the Jaeger.
Yeah, that is a good point. There's really nothing to do with this Jaeger. You can seal it, you can slow it, you can provoke it all you want, but ultimately you need to get some damage on it to take it out. Even on a non-vampire build, the Jaeger is definitely going to take it over this match, and so will this Light Harangue with these violent procs doing some nice damage with that skill one.
Exactly, and threat state dictates that this move has to go over to the Jaeger, and yeah, you can do whatever. You poke at it. You can't stun it. Yeah, you can provoke him, but it's like he's going to attack you anyway, and it's going to hurt. That's 1 point on the board for Rexis. If he can do that 2 more times, that legend title is his.
Yeah, it is off to a good start here. He didn't have that good start against Skit, but he didn't need it. So now, even the momentum on his side, he's definitely carrying it over from that match against Skit, and yeah, into full effect. I'm a bit sad that we missed out on a little bit on the draft phase there, but I did see that Erechion and the Dark Aragorn were in the pre-bans as well, so those will be available next game.
Yeah, let's see how this one plays out. Hopefully, sorry about that, chat. Hopefully, we'll get the pick and ban for you. I'm not sure what happens. Sometimes technical issues kind of pop up here, but we'll see if we can get that pick ban phase for us so we can talk you through it on there. Good morning, Chooms. What's up, Zettabyte? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Legend Tournament for RTA Season 36. You're right in time for the finals, where Rexis picked up 1 point against Qiang here in this best of 5. And in the pre-bans, we got Areshion and Shiho.
It looks like Areshion will not be seeing any playtime in this final here, as Qiang pre-banded when Rex has first pick, and now when Qiang has first pick, Rexis is choosing to pre-ban that monster. And Qiang actually pre-banning a Shiho here, even though he does have Josephine available, just really respecting that monkey and the speed that he had, and how it allowed Rexis to take the turn 1 in the first game.
Yeah, that's a lot of respect being put on the monkey for sure. It's like you called it out before we even went into the game. You said that Rexis' speed is going to be a difficult thing for Qiang to adapt to, and I think we're already seeing that happen. Qiang, believing in the power of Nyx, is bringing it back.
And the Nyx feels like a pretty odd pick here, especially in the Horang that has no debuffs. So, like, the Nyx passive doesn't do anything against the Horang. You're likely to be glancing on it, so it's going to be very difficult to extend the duration of the debuffs on it as well. I would like to see Rexis pick up some sustain here. Probably going to see that gap, so maybe the Jaeger or Berghild come out to play here too.
That would be really fun. There's the Jaeger back again, quickly becoming one of my favorite units in this tournament. And now Qiang, looking for answers, finds a Doman.
That is definitely an answer, but that is also a monster. If you miss that skill 3, it is brutal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
now Qiang kind of splitting his draft in an interesting way here. He's like half AoE CC cleave, and then he's half like going for this longer, drawn out bruiser fight.
Good note. Yeah, it's a little bit diluted. He could assemble something cool here. I don't, and also he's trying to put Rexis in between a Doman and a hard place. It's like, which one of these do you ban? Like, there's so many things in play that I don't want to play against. Just looking at Qiang's board, what are you banning here, Topa?
Yeah, it's quite difficult. It's going to depend a lot on this last pick that Rexis goes for. So he goes for an Angel. That is a shielding monster, and shields do somewhat counter the Doom-Man. So we might be seeing that Doom-Man getting let through, and maybe, well, it's also a lot of AoE healing, strong shields against the Lightning, so I definitely do like that last pick. It's probably going to take the ban, and Rexis could go either way between the Doom-Man and the Lightning here, I believe.
That's the tough part for me. I don't know which one, because the Lightning has the capacity to take out your whole team, but Doman will definitely kill one. So we see the Doman get banned out, and the Jaeger, the ever problematic Jaeger pick. And Light Harangues here with a couple of support units. This is still looking like either person's game just from the pick ban phase. Let's see how this goes.
It definitely is. Nyx getting that turn 1 now. Probably could be well, it could be anything, any build on the Nyx still. There's no Swift units on Rexis side this time, but the Aragorn does get a nice turn here. Gets that attack bar pushback, but only 1 slow lands there.
3 turns of glancing. There's a clutch little stun on the Light Nina to make sure that she doesn't do any big damage on this team.
Still has to control this monster for a lot more turns. Light Horang can do a little bit of damage here. The Gaps lose a reset here, no skills available there. Horang also a reset, no skills available.
Yeah, I think the no skills for the Light Harang was kind of a sad thing to find. It's like I forgot that he opened with skill 2 earlier. So yeah, this Light Nina I think is going to get to go off unless the Megami has a proc or something to say about it. No such luck. She is going to get to use that skill 3. Look at this damage, dude. 25% of their max HP is damage on top.
That is a lot of damage, but it doesn't take out anything, and Rexis definitely has ample healing on his side here. Does have a Gaps, does have the Angela. Surprised to see that both of those made it through the ban. But either way, that is the case, and those heals are going to be coming up very soon, and Rex's team is still looking quite lively.
Yeah, you're right that nothing is dead. Rexis could stabilize from here. He's got 2 methods of sustain, while his opponent doesn't really have much beyond the Gandalf. Gandalf is enough to try to stabilize the team. He'll be the lifeline.
The seal is actually working extremely well for Qiang here. You know, the Nyx extending the seal debuff to 2 turns, so nothing can proc for a while on Rex's side. So he's not getting as much healing as he probably would like here. And Qiang is getting back into skills here very soon, but that is a clutch stun on the Aragorn.
Yeah, look at that, getting the reflect damage though from them. Skill 1 comes the Light Nina in here. Rexis still finding that tempo, trying to stabilize. Look at this. This is the first time in a while his whole team has been without debuff, safe at the glancing on Megumi. This is looking pretty good, and I think Light Nina is still a turn away from her third skill.
Yeah, Light Nina is still at least one turn away, but
Dark
right? Aragorn does have skills available, and Megumi cannot violent proc to that seal being applied once again. The Gapsu does move in front, so could get a stun here. Does not get the stun, gets the violent proc. Can he get the stun? He doesn't get the stun, so Aragorn is going to be
This is a big move here for Qiang. Increased cooldown times, reduced attack bars, one turn away from skill 3 on the Light Nina. This is now there is definitely a clock for Rexis' comp.
Man, that is just the brutal power of Dark Aragorn right there. We see the power of slow. The Nina's likely going to be able to lap Rexis' team here, and Nyx, even with that damage, is taking out Angela. Angela's just too slow of a tempo unit, and Nina is moving next. That's going to wipe out the entire team with that damage.
Dude, you said it, man, but slow on full display. That slow debuff, it's legitimately one of the most powerful debuffs in the game. And I think it's worth shouting out. Keeping your opponent from getting to their next turn is so strong.
Yeah, and the seal got insane value in that game as well. Rexis did have cleansers, both the Angela and the Gapsu cleansed, but they were never the lowest HP monsters. So the seal was not cleansed on top of those monsters, and therefore they weren't able to get the violent procs, get the extra healing in. And Qiang ultimately, had enough protection with that Gandalf to stay alive and got 2 rotations off, right? He got 2 Aragorn skill 3s, and that Light Nina was going to get another skill 3 off as well. And ultimately, Rexis could not survive 2 rotations.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that Light Nina was poised to use that skill 3 again, so it was over right there, even if Rexis didn't scoop. Credit where it's due, I loved the Nyx in that position over what we saw in round 1 for Qiang.
Yeah, the Nyx actually, did silently provide a lot there. Extending those seal debuffs 2 turns, extending the slows, extending all the debuffs, as well as it did prevent a couple. I do recall it preventing at least 1 stun coming out of the Megumi in that game, so did block some debuffs as well. But going to game 3, and Rexis has his trusted monkey back in business.
And look who it is. It's the Light Nina and the Nyx.
Yeah, Qiang almost just angling for a Nyx sack here a little bit. Knows that the monkey's going to be outspeeding him. He's not even going to fight the speed on that. He's just going to, you know what? I'm just going to Nyx passive your monkey stun and eat good.
And Rexis, yeah, kind of going back to basics here with the Ashir and the Fire Megumi. This is what we kind of knew about him coming into this, right, Topa?
Yeah, very free-to-play friendly drafting as well. So, folks at home, take notes. This is probably a draft that you might be able to replicate yourself. And Qiang, meanwhile, going for pretty heavy LDs, but now with Julian, not the strongest monster in current meta, but that Annabelle did so well for him.
Yeah, the Julian will hit real hard on that defense break. We saw this unit foreshadowed in his game up against Big Ugg. He flashed the Julian, but then decided to redact it and went back on it again. So I'm glad that we get to see what he's planning. It's kind of cool that it's available here. Aya is a great choice up against all these debuffs that Qiang is threatening.
And so is that Layla. Layla having the cleanse block, just huge counter to Julian. But obviously, Layla is a bit awkward into Nyx, as Nyx might just block those debuffs. But Qiang is deadly afraid of that monster and still just spans it out. Doesn't want that cleanse block on the Julian at all.
That's a good note for sure. Yeah, that's one of the few debuffs that actually matters on Julian. Here we go. Shiho taking turn 1 as he so often does. We get the resistance from the Anvil.
Yeah, Annabelle once getting so much value. That is a huge resistance coming through here. Is he going to angle this Megumi stun on Annabelle? Nope, goes for the Nina. Does get on the violent proc, but that might not be a good proc as you do move out of your immunity now.
Clutch little defense break, but unfortunately she reses the provoke too, so that probably is not going to stick.
Ooh, goes for the Nyx skill too. That's going to boost the Megumi in front of you, Annabelle. And oh my goodness, the Megumi gets the pushback, but Annabelle still getting the turn.
That was close. He definitely gave him an opportunity to land something big there. So now the heal block potential, man, 100% res Annabelle, always so good. Look at that damage coming from Julian.
Yeah, with the additional turn, that skill too, it's so hard. And now Monkey's actually going to be out of protection as well, and the stun got Nyx passive. That Monkey did activate a stun on the Nina, but it got passive by the Nyx. And wait, he's not using the AoE. He really doesn't want to put any debuffs on this Aya, but he's going to put debuffs here now. 4 turn defense break. That's actually his whole team dead.
I think there comes a point where you just gotta rip the skill 3 anyway, because then you get in situations like this where it's like, okay, you gotta take it down, but she's stunned. You're gonna have to do the damage eventually.
Ooh, the Nyx does outspeed the monkey with the slow, so takes it out before it can get back into protection. And Qiang is on a timer here, by the way, because that Nobara has had 4 turn defense break on it. That is 4 times 25 is 100%. So the Nobara can take all the turns, and it's dead. It would have killed Qiang's team, but unfortunately, that is not the case for Rexis.
Qiang pulling ahead here. Rexis has to figure this out. Now Qiang is going to be at game point going into this next one.
Yeah, Rexis, he looked so good in that game right there, but the Aya maybe not doing enough. Into the Julian. Julian obviously providing a lot of damage, can easily delete that monster off the game. And maybe Qiang, even had a slight misplay there, like not using the Nina skill 3. Could have probably finished the game a lot sooner, but also did get quite lucky that did dodge that stun and also the Megumi, and nothing for that fact landed on the Annabelle.
She was really 100% res. She had that death break, but she quickly shook it off because of the skill 2. But after that, nothing landed on her. She was just a sentinel for that comp, making sure that she was keeping everybody healthy. This is a super important pre-ban, guys. Again, this could potentially be the last game of the night. Qiang sitting at game point. Rexis has to lock in.
He does, and that's why he probably took his time on the pre-ban there, really be considering, is Eresion really that big of a problem, right? Like, do I maybe want to ban out this Dark Aragorn instead and fight the Eresion? But ultimately does decide to go for the Eresion pre-ban, and we see the same pre-bans as game 2, so Rexis probably has to adapt from game 2 a little bit here, as Qiang did take that game.
Yeah. Always be considering. Look, Dark Aragorn in the first slot, dude. Some interesting tech. I have not seen that so much as I have tonight.
Oh, and Rexis is adapting for sure. He's going for maybe a AoE CC clean playstyle. This is a couple metas ago, Oliver Okeanos that we're seeing this opener, but now Qiang responding back with speed. This might work out in Rexis' favor though.
Speaking of resurgences, right? Like Okeanos is kind of had one. He dips his toe back in every so often. It's cool to see him locked in early. Love that Rexis is playing with that unit here. What is this other one going to be? We haven't seen Rexis hesitate this long on that 4th pick slot. It's Layla.
It is Layla. I'm not sure how much I like that pick. I feel like Qiang can quite easily go for like a Hey Gang could kind of counter a lot of it. And oh my goodness, Novara Douglas is absolutely disgusting. The Okeanos might have enough attack to go through this Douglas, and Megumi does have the attack break on skill 1, but it's a very low chance of landing.
That is a huge... That's a big swing in the favor of counterplay from Qiang. That's a big overcorrection here. Look at that. The Douglas has got to be banned. I don't know what could be in here. There's not enough passives to say Tessa. It's Jaeger, baby. He's back again.
It almost doesn't matter what Rex's last picks here. I'm 99% sure that Qiang is going to be banning out unless Rex's picks an absolute slime of a monster. So Jaeger is likely getting banned out here. He has, ample counters. He has the turn 1 threat with that speed-led sheer boost in the Gojo stripping the Dark Aragorn is very, very strong. And then obviously that double counterplay with the Nobara and the Douglas that likely would solo Rex's entire team.
And there were 2 force bans in play, Jaeger and Douglas, and they're out of there. There pretty much wasn't really room to ban anything else, I'll say. I don't know how Rexis is going to get through this Aya, though.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. Also, Qiang will be taking the turn 1, so Rexis might just get controlled right off the get-go.
He might.
Megumi does have the chance. Can he win the 50-50 here? And he does. Oh, he procs!
Look, he got it, but then a proc puts him right back where he should. Dude, that was a crazy series of events. We're already seeing high damage coming out on Rexis' side. Now, there is one window here, and it's Fire Megami defense break eventually on Aya or, Gojo, whatever order Rexis wants to go for, and then damage from Oki. So there is a world where Rexis can pull this back. It's just unlikely.
Yeah, there's obviously a chance here. This Megumi is winning a lot of the 50-50s. Does also win the 50-50 on the light Gojo there. Removes the immunity instead of the speed buff. And now Okeanos can stun the whole team. There's a lot of damage coming at the Okeanos as well, so good control, but there is a one-turn debuff sitting on top of the handlebars. That is another 25% health just wiped off your entire team.
Also, I would also just want to, make sure to keep Gojo. Well, actually, maybe you don't want to reset the Gojo because if he does it, he'll cleanse the Aya. So maybe that's actually a good thing if he uses the cleanse.
Yeah, but I don't know. This is going to be so difficult. There's just... I don't know how you deal with this Aya. One more debuff on Aya is your entire team dead. Now the Escher with the insane skill 3 damage takes out the Okeanos. That was the main way that Aya was going to go down. And at this point, I don't see how Rexis comes back anymore.
I don't think so, dude. It was an admirable effort, but yeah, there's no way through. There's just no way through that Aya. Look at the damage, and now it's just the dominoes are set up, and it's time to knock them down. Qiang moves forward and is our RTA Season 36 legend. Very well played.
Yeah, very well played. He found the pivot there. He found the pivot that he needed. Rexis kind of overcommitted right there. That Layla was just too early. I didn't like it. There was not enough damage. And when you go for those low damage, high debuff comps, Aya loves that. And then also, you didn't really have a clear answer to Douglas, which had to be banned. And, well, the rest is history now.
Exactly. You set it out early. You were like, Qiang's going to have to adapt to that high-speed play style. Figured it out. Made Rexis start to play differently. We got to see a lot of interplay there, and then you explained it so eloquently. We don't even have to go into it. I think that was super well done by Qiang. And honestly, dude, it got down to RTA 101 at the end with that Douglas Aya slam.
Yeah, that was excellent counter picking by Qiang right there, and it worked out very well. He almost had like 3 force bans in that game, right? Because you kind of can't deal with the Aya. You definitely can't deal with the Douglas. And then you also can't really let the entire combo of the AoE strip or the boost into AoE strip into the AoE reset through. So
yeah, exactly. Like you're looking at that pick ban phase and you're like, what do I do here? I gotta ban everything. But now, with all that said, I just want to give credit where it's due to Rexis as well because it gave us a heck of a show. What a first appearance at a Legend tournament, making it all the way to the finals like that. Like I cannot wait to see more of Rexis in the future, and we will all be seeing Qiang in the Hall of Fame henceforth, which is real cool, Topa.
yeah, definitely. Rexis is a very household name in competitive play here. He's
Oh yeah.
playing in the Summons World European League next Saturday as well, I believe that is. And I'm sure, he's going to be coming back with vengeance in, SWC Europe as well as maybe future Legend tournaments. Would be great to see him there.
Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Here's the highlight for the game that we just watched, dude. Qiang versus Rexis, the finals in this best of 5 series. So the Shiho too. The Shiho was a crux of Rexis's comp. He was really powerful when he had it, but when it was taken away, it seemed like he was taken a bit out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, he also, lived by the Shiho and he also died by the Shiho. As we saw in Game 3, he missed that stun on the Annabelle. And the Annabelle was not controlled at all. Got the cleanse off and, kind of got the ball rolling from there.
Yeah, and the rest is history. This is the one that was really cool. We got the 2 rotations from the Dark Aragorn, and we were about to see a second skill 3 from the Light Nina. This was kind of an incredible game. Very fun because of all the big swings. Very clear moments of like, okay, we need to make something happen, or we're gonna lose this game. Very big milestones. Julianne popping off for the first time since 2024 as well.
Yeah, Julian definitely getting a couple, or getting that one nice violent proc, get back to the skill to just delete that Escher, and the skill to damage we see right there, 32,000 damage on a 2-turn cooldown feels kind of unfair. That is a lot of damage on a monster that you can't really control at all.
Yeah. Hey, sounds like Chow.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's a little better than Chow there. And of course, this last one, we've dissected it already, but this was just so tough, dude. Like the Aya was just poised to take down everything that Rexis brought.
Yeah, and the Megami, while it did have a good performance on Windows 50/50s, getting the immunity instead of the speed buff, it also did miss, that stun on the Escher that then got the Okeanos killed, and obviously the Dark Argon did proc out, and even, on a couple build-up monsters, that is a lot of damage the Dark Argon skill 3 did there.
It is. It's a lot of damage. Yeah, everybody in chat, I know we're kidding, but the Dark Aragorn is amazing. He's still phenomenal, even though he took, one loss tonight or something like that. There he is, everybody. Qiang. That is our Legends Summoner for Season 36 of World Arena. Congratulations, and thank you to everybody involved. This was awesome, and I hope you guys had fun in the RTA season. Look forward to Special League. This is a lot. It was a really fun series of games that we got to see, and Topa, we got to see some different drafts as well.
Yeah, and it's obviously we had some competitive play in the European League, the summit, which I guess is in challenge mode, so not exactly there. But this is kind of the first showcase of the collaboration monsters
Yeah.
in play as well. So very cool to see, the Water Gandalf. We saw Fire Legolas. We saw obviously a Dark Aragorn. So kind of a lot of those collab monsters seem very meta viable.
Oh yeah, guys. We got one more coupon code for you for hanging out with us, and those 5 mystical scrolls will complete the 10 pull for you. I hope you get something cool. Just use this code First Legend of 26. That's the First Legend of 2026, Qiang. Type that in if you're on Android, and if you happen to be on iOS, just by interacting with one of those links in chat that's posted by Come to Us Moke, our lovely moderators. Thank you so much, Moke, for moderating tonight too and hanging out with us. Hope you get something cool from that 10 poll, guys. That's pretty awesome. I'll have to type those codes in too, Topa.
Yeah, I already got the one earlier on the break, but gotta get that second one and complete that 10 pull. That's a lot of MS, and maybe you'll get your Reshion from there or any other of the collab monster you're missing, because that collaboration is ending pretty soon.
It is. Yes, that would be the dream to get in a Reshion or like a last second collab Nat 5. Best of luck to you, chat. And again, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We know it's late, and couldn't think of a better way to spend a Friday night than casting with you, Topa. This was awesome, dude. Thank you.
Oh yeah, always a treat to be here. Thank you for having me, guys, and yeah, good night to everyone.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Have fun and good luck out there if you're playing Special League. All right, everybody. Good night. We'll see you next time.
Looks like we got a little bit more time here, and yeah, just wanted to say that thank you guys for hanging out with us, and I hope you guys achieved the ranks in the RTA season that just ended.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, guys.